You're listening to Money Making Conversations with Rushion McDonald.
Some people have a career for 20 or 30 years
Yes,
and they live on what they did, and they can't seem to, they get older, they get past 50, and they can't, I see a lot of this in the industry, they
yes, you
can't
do.
turn it into something else, or they're not willing to turn it into something else. They're waiting
That's the
for,
key right there. That's
okay.
the key right there.
Mhm.
Here's the key. They're not willing to admit they're gonna get old.
Mhm.
See, you have to sit around and realize that you're gonna get old in this business. I remember I told you, I said when we did the radio deal, I didn't want me and Steve to be two old black men in Hollywood.
Right.
I want us to control our destiny. Right
Mhm.
there, I realized that we were going to get old.
Mhm.
Okay, and I also realized that to maintain longevity in this business, you have to be topical.
Mhm.
You have to feel like you're hip. The
Mhm.
one thing that when you talk about Steve, you don't even talk about his age. He feels so current. He feels so topical. He feels so relevant, and that's by design.
Mhm.
Radio allows us to be in the mix, but we're entertainers. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We are politically conscious when necessary,
Mhm.
but we are entertainers. And so that allows me to say, look at Steve's morning show, for instance. Okay, you have Steve, he's the star of the morning show. Then you have Shirley, and then Shirley's a single mom. And Carla, she's a married with a beautiful daughter. And then you have Tommy, he's a wild child on the show.
Mhm.
Now, when we started this morning show back in 2000, which was 14 years ago, Tommy was a certain age. Now he's 14 years later, he's a little older.
Mhm.
So I said, I got to bring in another young cat named Junior, who's 36.
Mhm.
So to make the show still topical, because what you eventually realize is this, man. And I would tell people all the time, when people tell me, man, you look good for your age. Okay, I look good for my age until you put me next to a 20-year-old person.
Right.
You know, look like their daddy.
Mhm.
Okay, and so it's the same thing in being topical. You can. The worst thing in the world is to act like you know how to talk here. Bring somebody on your show, and that's how they talk.
Mhm.
And guess what? When you're communicating, everything sounds topical and normal.
Mhm.
And it's all. And what happens? Who did it best, man, was Quincy Jones.
Mhm.
Quincy Jones stayed so topical in the business for so long, man. Because guess what? He hung with young people,
Mhm.
but he didn't act like he was young. He knew he was Quincy Jones.
Right, and then they had respect for him, and that's another thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's another thing I noticed in the industry is that there's always been a generation gap where that middle is missing. You either
Right.
young or you old, and it's like generally the older people don't allow the younger people in the circle because they fear that they're going to take over whatever they're doing.
Well, see, the thing is, the last person that did it right to me was
Mhm.
Quincy Jones,
Mhm.
because Quincy Jones, he stayed in the groove. Because see, man, once you admit in this business that you can get old or you will get old, then you start planning. You plan to start protecting your brand, or how do you stay in the zone? How do you stay current?
Mhm.
And that's all it's about. That's what it's all about. It's like, success is based on staying current. It's no different than Apple. Let's put it this way. When the iPad came out, the iPhone came out, revolutionized the industry, correct?
Mhm.
All of a sudden, Samsung came out with this big phone.
Mhm.
Everybody kind of laughed at it, right?
Mhm.
Who gonna buy that big phone with that big screen?
Mhm.
Everybody bought it.
Mhm.
Okay? Okay, cool. What was iPhone? So iPhone sat over there for a minute. They put another one out, but all the people kept buying with these big old phones that nobody said would buy. Okay, then iPhone said, something? Bigger is better.
Mhm.
We're not going to sit over here and act like this not the topical. We're going to let everybody feel like it was our idea too. And that's what people have to do in this business, man, and realize that change is fine. Don't keep hanging on to the script. Don't keep hanging on to the beat. Don't keep hanging on to the lyric. You have to adjust with the time.
Mhm.
That's what people don't do, man. They refuse to adjust, and then guess what they do? They become outdated, and then guess what they do? They keep trying to shove that outdated music, outdated script, outdated dialogue on people who don't want to hear it, man. It's like somebody trying to sell you Shaft movie today. It ain't gonna work. It ain't
So,
gonna work.
so then if a person if they have a legacy in the industry, unfortunately that legacy is left to yesterday if they haven't been able to matriculate or turn that into something else.
Well, his left you yesterday. If you don't put people around you that keep you current, like Clyde Davis is very smart about that.
Right.
Okay, he stays the golden child or the golden man, but guess what? Around him, everybody stays current.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody stays topical, and he keeps the title of super genius.
Mm-hmm. So the key is to surround yourself with the right people. So what happens if you get in a situation where you get older, and
Yes,
you're out of pocket,
Right.
you're not working on the beach,
Right.
and you want to get back in, or you want to do something that relates to what you did before. Should you try to do what you did before and make it
No.
better, or should you
No.
do something else?
No, you can't do what you did before because it's outdated. That's why you on the sidelines now.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is that when people come to me now, they go, they say, Rushion, wow, this is what you do. Can you do it for me? I have to examine. I sit down and talk to you. Go, what you want? Because I can't do for you what I did for Steve.
Mm-hmm.
He's a super talented guy, and he has a skill set that is particular to him.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has to understand that route to success has to be based on what your current skill set is now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then also, how much time are you willing to put into it? Let me just tell you this. Steve Harvey is a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? So if you come to me and you're not a workaholic, we can't mix.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to ask you to do some things that might be against your nature.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, hey, man, can I do it later? And guess what? When you say later, I'm going to be offended. Because guess what? I don't operate like that.
So
Because I need it done now.
This Money Making Conversations audio was taken from various interviews, speaking engagements, and press appearances by Rushion McDonald. Want to know more about succeeding in business and in life? Follow Rushion McDonald on Twitter and Facebook at Rushion McDonald and Facebook.com/Rushion McDonald.